people, it's me, Rachel Avalon, and right now we're going to focus on sugar, which mostly means high fructose corn syrup. Cookies, cakes, and candy were once considered the main sugar culprits, but we're going to look at how liquid candy, aka sodas, energy drinks, and blended coffee concoctions have earned that title and are drowning our society in diabetes, depression, obesity, accelerated aging, and cancer, just to name a few. Speaking of the big C, did you know that Dr. Otto Warburg won the Nobel Prize in Medicine way back in 1931 for proving the connection between sugar and cancer? Turns out cancer cells just can't get enough of the sweet stuff. But wait, if this information has been around for decades, I wonder why everyone doesn't already know about it anyway. And I wonder why so many sugar pushers are jumping on the bandwagon and supporting causes like breast cancer when it looks like maybe their products are contributing to the problem in the first place. Oh, right. Well, I would have liked to have known about the sugar-cancer connection before I ended up in the OR when I was only 18, having a lump removed from one of my breasts. Thankfully, it turned out to be benign, and it inspired me to ask some important questions because with no family history, it really got me thinking about nutrition, stress, and the environment. Since I'm going to show you liquid candy, let's start with the real deal. Keep in mind that one of these little sugar packets is about 1 teaspoon of sugar, and I rounded up or down for the examples as needed. Okay, when you eat an Almond Joy, you eat 5 teaspoons of sugar. What about a Reese's? 5 teaspoons as well. And remember that these are regular size, not king size. Next we have M&M's, which is 8 teaspoons of sugar. This one used to be one of my favorites back in high school. It's 8 as well. Okay, now that we've looked at traditional candy, let's take a look at liquid candy. Now keep in mind that almost all of these really contain high fructose corn syrup rather than traditional sugar. Let's start with sports drinks filled with electrolytes and other things that we really need after we have a good workout and exercise, right? Well, let's say you're drinking one of these. That means you're drinking about this much sugar. Ooh, that's 14 packets of sugar. Gatorade not your brand? How about some Powerade? 15 teaspoons in this. It's the perfect segue into energy drinks because if you are in the mood for 15 packets, you can just drink an Amp Energy. What about Full Throttle? The names of all of these, I love marketing. It's so brilliant. It really is. Well, that would basically be one of these and then minus. So you're actually going down to 14. Yay! Alright, next we're looking at No Fear, which in general I think is a good way to live your life, but when it comes to nutrition, you need to practice common sense. And we're now looking at 17. Alright, we're ready to move on to sodas, and we're going to start with Sprite, which adds up to 16. Doesn't that just seem so refreshing? I think so, and it also complements our friend Dr. Pepper, same amount. Coke or Pepsi? Such important things to decide. Are these my only options? I mean, ugh. Well, it turns out that Coke gets to join our friends Dr. Pepper and Sprite because it has the same amount, which is 16. La la la. Whereas Pepsi has 1 extra teaspoon, so that makes it 17. Here is the ultimate sugar shock, and for some of you, it may be no surprise. Mountain Dew contains 19 teaspoons of sugar. What do I even say? Holy criminy! It's insane. It's crazy. That is so much sugar to be putting in your body. I mean, seriously, would you ever take 19 packets of sugar and dump them into a glass of water, or, you know, stir it in with your cereal, or add it to your tea or your coffee or whatever? I mean, that's so much sugar. When I say liquid candy, this stuff starts to make this stuff look like it's not that bad of an option, which is pretty scary when you think about it. Okay, but what about the people out there who are saying, soda? I gave that up ages ago. I mean, I don't even have to think about that. Well, that's good. But are you drinking those blended coffee concoctions? And do you know how much sugar's in that? Well, thankfully it is better than Mountain Dew, but let's take a look. Okay, so now you have your Starbucks treat, your cafe vanilla frappuccino with whip, right? Well, without whip doesn't make that much of a difference with the sugar. But with whip, here is your grand total. Oh, and this is only the 16 ounce. So we've got 15. That's right, 15. So when you're drinking one of these, it's the equivalent, more or less, of one of these, one of these, one of these, as far as sugar goes. Okay, so what are some real alternatives, and how can you have real sustained energy? Because when you have high fructose corn syrup, you know, in your system in these high amounts, you're basically just stressing out your pancreas and your insulin levels, and that's why you get this shot of energy, but then you always come crashing down, and then you usually want to go pick yourself back up, so then you grab another one of these. So the point is, you can have real sustained energy with a whole foods diet and water. Okay, now I want to make sure that you know about agave nectar and stevia. These two natural forms of sugar are just amazing because both of them are friendly for diabetics as well as hypoglycemics, and that's because they keep your glucose levels pretty even rather than doing the whole up down spiking thing. This one, stevia, actually is 0 calories, and it's used in about 40% of Japanese sodas from what I know. So both of these are a really good alternative to traditional sugar. Okay, if you want to dive deeper, I recommend reading the classic book that came out in the 70s called Sugar Blues. It is so fascinating and creepy when you look at, you know, the history and politics behind sugar and how it has just, you know, spread around the world, and definitely recommend reading this book. The second recommendation I have is for a documentary called King of Corn. And this movie really helps explain what has happened in terms of the farming communities and politics and profits with getting corn into all of these foods and beverages that we're eating and drinking. Okay, I know some people get bored with water, and there are alternatives aside from liquid candy to enjoy, and here are some examples. This one is vitamin water, and it's a natural product, which means not only are you going to avoid the artificial ingredients like coloring and things like that, the form of sugar in it is a healthier choice than the high fructose corn syrup. And along the same lines, but even healthier, is fruit water, which only has 3 teaspoons in it. And lastly, you get the good stuff, Hint, which actually magically has 0 calories and 0 sugar, but somehow they're able to flavor it with fun things like raspberry and lime. So you've got options. Take them. Alright, well that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, shine on!